What's going on, everyone? Chris here with Clutter Reduction Junk Removal, and today is the day we are finally getting started with the trailer build. It is currently almost 2 o'clock. By the time I get to my brother's, it's probably going to be like 2:30. So we're not going to have a whole lot of daylight, but I've been procrastinating it because I've been busy with work. So we're just going to get there, try to get done as much as possible. All right, quick little recap on what we're going to be doing today. I already started cutting some wood, but I'll go ahead and explain what my game plan is. I'm not saying that I am right. This is my first trailer build. I've built plenty of things on my own. They're not professionally done. I'm not a carpenter, you know. But this is what I'm going to be doing. This is what I researched, and for the most part, I think everything will be okay. I've gotten some suggestions from people saying that certain things should be done in certain ways. I'm not discouraging that, but I'm just doing what I feel comfortable with because I know that I can accomplish it. So essentially, we're using 2x6 boards for the sides. And it's 14 feet long, 6.5 feet wide. I'm using a 4x4 post in the front corners of the trailer to help with extra support and bracing for wind draft. And then we're going to be using 2x4s for pretty much like studs going throughout to help keep it from bowing over time. And then I also have E-tracks, which are used for ratchet straps that you usually see in box trucks. I'm going to be doing vertical placement on those as well, which will just help hold the boards together even more. And then for the top rail of the trailer, I may be doing 2x4s along that just to have a little extra securement, especially when I'm running like my ratchet strap side to side, or to help keep it from getting damaged at the very top. It's basically going to be like a protectant. And then fucking peacocks. They're so loud. And there's so many of them. After we do the wood, we have some Bondo, which I learned from old time hauling. We're going to go through and fill it in on all the little knots and stuff. And we're also going to do it on the floor. I didn't even think about the floor, but the floor actually has a lot of knots in it and pretty good sized ones, like this big and bigger. So we're going to be rubbing some Bondo in there to help protect that over time. The trailer wall is going to get a paint primer sealant put on it to help protect it over time. It's going to be white on the outside. On the inside, we're just going to do a waterproof transparent sealant. And then on the floor, we'll do a transparent sealant. So with the outside of the walls, my game plan is to make the outside smooth. So it'll look like my current trailer with the aluminum build. I'll throw a picture up on the screen. So what I plan on doing is once I build the walls, I'll get caulk, which I have a lot of, and I'll seal in the gaps, sand it all down so it's nice and smooth like aluminum, and then I'll paint it white. So that's the game plan, is to make it appear like it's all one build on the outside, and then on the inside you'll see like the bracing of the wood, but my goal is to not make it look super like cluttered. I want it to still be kind of simple but secure. I also got trailer signage off of UZ Marketing that it's like a 3x8 foot acrylic correlated plastic like banner, and they have grommets every 2 feet. So I'm just going to use that to attach to the outside of the trailer, so that way if it gets damaged over time, it's like $38 a sign. So like that's almost as much as my magnets is. So I'll just replace it as necessary. But it's a lot cheaper than doing like a $1,700 wrap on an aluminum build. All right, we got everything cut up. Those are for that side. These here are for this side. This is for the front. The trailer is 6.5 by 14. These are cut to 167 inches, which is 13 feet and 11 inches. If you are curious why it's not 14 foot, it's because I stopped it pretty much where this black mark is. Now, what I plan on doing, because you can stand the gate up, so nice when it's new. It doesn't reach it per se, but what I plan on doing is running a 2x4 at the end here to kind of help support up against this here, and it'll hold. It'll hold all the boards together as like a finishing support beam. Kind of like the 4x4 on the front, but obviously this is the tail end. So that's the game plan with that. I just went ahead and took the blower and just blowed out all of the edges so that they're nice and clean before I lay down, you know, any siding, so we're not trapping debris in there. So basically just gonna get some of these on here, start lining them up little by little, and then we'll go ahead and get a 2x4 there, and we'll just start going ahead and bracket it in place. I'm gonna try to get done as much as I can, but I want it to be secure, so we're not just gonna go like 5 feet high on one side and then like not do anything else. It's gonna fall over. So we're basically just gonna start in a perimeter and work our way up. I think that's gonna be the best bet in case I'm not able to come back right away. All right, so this is the perimeter. I haven't bolted anything down yet, but this is just the first mark. So it holds itself in place perfectly, which is great because the board over there is in between them. The 4x4 is already cut to 5 foot height. So those are going to be planted on the inside of both corners. And I have hardware over there to hold it in place, running up. And then I know some people aren't fans of these like little brackets. I just think they're great for like just that extra little bit securement for fastening things to the ground. So that's what I'm using as a primary supplement to hold it down to the floorboard itself. So I basically just went with the individual stakes that are on the trailer already to kind of give me a guide. So I just have those running around the whole thing. I have a lot of these, don't you worry. But they just ran around the whole thing. And then back here will be a 2x4 attached to the end, and it'll run up 5 feet. And that's will kind of connect them all together. And I have some other hardware just for different securements, especially like at the top rail. I'll show you in a little bit. But this is pretty much what it's going to look like. We're going to go ahead and make some, we're going to pre-drill some holes so we don't do any splitting today. And we'll try to at least start, if I can at least get like, I don't know, a couple of these tall, you know, at least to get a start. I think that would be pretty good. So we at least need this part done though. Let's get started. All right, so this is what we got so far. I got the 4x4s in, and I got the little support brackets on them, and I got the 2 in place. These just aren't really attached though. I kind of screwed up and didn't get 1.5 inch screws for pretty much everything else. So I need to go pick up some of those. And then we also got the wrong size hex bolts for the 4x4 post. I was going to connect the front beam. There's a reason why I'm doing so much on the front beams. So we got 3.5 inch and we needed to get 6. So we're going to have to go to Home Depot and get more of everything that I'm missing. And we'll have to continue this another day. The reason for so much support on the front ends is for the same purpose of the current trailer I have, how there's those black steel bars on the outside. It's to help with wind draft when you're driving. So I need the fronts to be more secure than anything else. So that's why we're doing so much hardware. So it's kind of where we're at for now. We got this holding this in place because the trailer's on a slant. So this wants to fall forward. Otherwise it's going to be like that. Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but we're going to be doing an aluminum floor. So when my brother gets back from Japan, we're going to be getting 4x8 aluminum cuts. So it'll be 4 feet wide, but it'll be, you know, cut out to match this, and they'll cut around the corners and stuff, and we'll just drill them into the floor, and it'll be, you know, probably 4 total cuts, and we'll have to custom cut the end. But ideally I want to, 1, protect the floor, and 2, I want to make it seal proof, so where if I were to spill paint, it's not going to escape the trailer at all. We're also going to be putting a aluminum bottom on this here on the inside, and also I want to try to see if I can extend this out like an inch or 2, because a lot of times when we're coming with the dollies, especially 4-wheelers or speed packs, we'll get stuck on this lip trying to go up, and it can be very difficult to get past that sometimes. So that's kind of the idea behind it, is to cover everything. But I would want the aluminum siding to go on the inside here, because obviously this will help keep it protected from denting as easily. So that's the game plan. It'll be lighter weight than plywood, a little bit more durable, and that's pretty much it. All right, so this is where we left off yesterday. We didn't get these boards in because we need the hardware to attach them. Right now we are painting the E-tracks. This is what an E-track is. This is what you use to attach into it. You can use a clip for D-rings, which just came with the box, which is pretty cool. Or you can use a ratchet strap, which is similar to like your typical strap, except the ratchet strap for an E-track has a clip just like what I just showed you. So it's just a little bit, more secure. But this is what they look like when they come from Amazon. I'm just painting them black so they don't rust over time. And I think the black's gonna be a nice touch on like the natural wood color on the inside. So that's what we're doing right now. They're actually drying pretty quickly because it's kind of windy out, as you can see. So it's actually kind of nice because that means I can flip it over sooner than later. I'm basically going to let these air dry a little bit, start working on the wood, and kind of go back and forth. All right, we haven't really been recording anything because I've been listening to a podcast this whole time, but these came out pretty nicely. This one, unfortunately, is gloss because I only had wet spray paint for flat, which I kind of preferred because I think it gives it like a nice gunmetal look. And that one's gloss. So we have to order more anyway, so we'll just make them all gloss and I'll just interchange them. It's fine, I don't care. As long as they don't rust. So what we've been doing is, now that I have my 1.5-inch screws versus the little 1/2-inch knobs, not that there's anything wrong with, 1/2 inches or anything, but we went ahead and plugged in 2 more to every single bracket, so now they're a little bit more secure. Now you may think that's a lot of screws, but remember we're putting aluminum flooring down, so you're only going to see the top parts. And then we went ahead and ran a lag bolt on the outside, which this will get painted white, don't worry. And we're going to be running these on these ones only, and then possibly on the 2x4s at the end. I haven't decided yet. We're going to kind of just wing this here. And then I basically just went in and filled in everything. So now this is not going anywhere. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and cut up our 2x4s into 5-foot posts so we can get them going at the end, because I don't want to continue stacking these and just have them all flippy floppy at the end. So we're going to get the 2x4s going. I think we might do the lag bolts. I have those 3.5-inch ones that I bought on accident. We might just go ahead and use those. It's enough to, well, actually I don't know if it's gonna be enough. What's a 2x4, like 1 3/4 or some random shit like that? We'll see. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But either way, we're going to at least get them fastened. Maybe we'll just do a pre-screw just to hold it. And then we'll start building the walls. I just wanted to make sure I had that bottom one secure, though. All right, quick update. Once again, I've been watching a podcast this whole time, so no video footage. We have to leave, though, to go to the storage unit to sell somebody something. But we made 4 walls so far, and I got the 2x4s for the most part in. I'm going to be putting one in the middle of these 2, and then again in those 2, and on the other side. But this way we at least have some bracing. The one thing I do need to figure out is, first of all, the trailer's on a slant, so everything is kind of leaning that way. That's like, even when I stand, everything kind of goes that way. But I do want to find a way to connect this to the pole to keep it braced on both sides, because I think if I continue the way it is without bracing it, when I run a ratchet strap, it's going to want to pull it forward. So I tried to drill a hole through this, and that was not working out. So I don't know if I just don't have the right drill bits or a strong enough drill, but it was not working out. So I know you can do stuff with the little joist down here, but I don't know how that would work with this thing. So we have to figure that out. But my game plan would be to basically do this and pull it back. So we'll have to see what we can do. But that's pretty much the only complication. So far, it's kind of coming together. I think it looks pretty nice so far. We would be caulking the gaps on the floor and all the in-betweens, doing a light sand just to clean it up a little. and then putting a clear transparent sealant over the whole thing to protect it over time. And then the outside, which is coming together pretty much how I anticipated so far. Once we get the 2x4s on a little bit more, these gaps will kind of seal themselves a little bit more flushed. And we're going to seal the gaps with the caulk, sand it down so it's nice and smooth, like this. And then paint it white, and then we'll put on our trailer signage. So I think it's coming together pretty well so far. Something I also plan on doing with this back end is I'm going to be putting a 2x4 on this side going straight up. So it'll be a double brace for it, but it's also because on my current trailer, oh God, sorry. Oh, God damn it. On my current trailer, this is how it looks. Even with the aluminum build, there's a little bit of a gap. So by having a 2x4 here, I'm hoping it'll help flush out that gap a little bit, and it won't be so noisy, because this will go like this when you're driving, because there's a little space down there even when you put the pin in. So I think it'll just help keep it a little bit quieter. So there will be a 2x4 on both sides. But that's pretty much it for today. I kind of got here a little late because we were looking for hotels for the wedding venue, but I don't have any jobs tomorrow lined up, so we'll probably come here first thing in the morning and try to finish out the build and then take it from there. So that's gonna be it for today. All right, day 3. I haven't been recording because it's been super windy out, but we got the sides on. The top bar is gonna be a 2x4. Here comes the wind. So everything is built. When we just caulked the inside, so next we'll be doing the outside, and then we'll sand it all down, paint it all white. I did add in studs here into the pockets for some extra support on the bottom. The trailer is on a slant, by the way, so you're going to notice that there's a gap on this side of the trailer, and I'm pretty sure that's why. So here's the inside. Basically, I did this at my house too. When I caulked the trims all along, any extra putty I had, I just went ahead and put it on the knots just to kind of fill it in to flush it a little bit. That's why it looks like a Jackson Pollock painting in here. So we did the edges all along the bottom and the rails. And then we are going to get our sealant, which is in that container right there, and we're going to basically paint the floor with it. And then I'm going to paint the insides white. I know they're going to get dirty and they're going to get messed up, but I have plenty of extra paint. So those are more for the outside. I have extra paint at home that's for exterior use. So we're going to paint the inside white, and the main reason is because I forgot to get transparent caulk for the inside. So that's the main reason for that. But heck, you know, I mean, it'll make it look nice. It'll make the E-tracks pop real nice because they're black, you know, so it is what it is. As I mentioned before, we are likely going to be doing aluminum flooring, and I'll just get them cut to go around each post. So it'll sit nice and flush, because my objective is to not have gaps in between the wood to where if something were to spill out, I don't have to worry about it going through the trailer and then marking up the road. So this is pretty much done build-wise. I ran out of 1.5-inch screws, so I need to finish doing these corner brackets on both sides and on the front sides there on the inside. Otherwise, everything else is built the way I intended it to. The top piece is going to get a 2x4 all the way around just to cap it off. I did add this in. I went ahead and did this to... Oh, Jesus Christ. I basically did this to fill in all of this, so it's not just so it's not just showing. So that way everything is covered all around the trailer on the corners. But I also did it too, so when I close this, there's not a 2-inch gap. You know, it's not a perfect flush fit, and I wasn't intending it to, but it does eliminate any spacing. So that was another reason for doing that. But yeah, I think it came out pretty well. It's not perfect. You know, it's not going to be 100% flush. It's wood. You know, you can get all the flattest pieces in the road, and by the time you go to use it, you know, they bent just a little. So it is what it is. But we are going to caulk the gaps, sand it all down, paint it white. I have the trailer signage that will get fastened into the wood itself, so I won't have to worry about doing any kind of decals or whatnot. So, I mean, honestly, you probably won't even see half of this wood anyways. But if I had to do one thing differently, it would have taken absolutely forever, but I would have sanded down every single piece of wood first and then painted it and then built this and then just gone back and do touch-up paint, because then I wouldn't have to sit there and fill it in so much. But that's that. This is 5 feet tall once I put the 2x4 on the top trim. The E-tracks will be the last thing to go on along with the tarp system, which, let me show you that, by the way. It's the same build I have for the other one, except now I don't have to drill into steel. But basically, that'll get connected up here with the 2x4, and it'll probably hang down a little bit into this. And it'll either sit up top here, or I'll have it this way and have it go like that. I might actually end up doing that, because when I go high like that, the only problem is that when I have things stacked in the trailer rubbing up against it, it actually hinders the fact that I can't unroll it perfectly. So I actually might have it go out this way vertically, and I'll just find a way to kind of help brace it a little extra. Otherwise, we did pretty good on the corner. It's just barely off because the wood's a little warped up here. Otherwise, I mean, we'll sand this down and then fill it in with the Bondo and caulk, so it'll be pretty flush for the most part. But I think it turned out pretty well. I used lag bolts on parts of the 4x4 on the inside, and then down here, everything else is screws. I know lag bolts are better for multiple reasons, but it was just kind of a pain to have to sit there and drill holes for every single piece of wood. And honestly, I'm not intending on getting more than a few years out of this, realistically. So this is kind of where we're at. All right, I think we are done for today. I went ahead and filled in all the knots throughout the whole trailer, inside and out, and filled in any like gaps in the wood and whatnot, so it doesn't bleed through when we paint it and or doesn't show at all. So I think we got all of them. I don't think I missed any. The only ones I missed were the ones that are like too close to the bar itself. Now my game plan would be my next day off, I'll come by, sand everything down, and then paint everything all at once. We'll probably paint the sides first, and then before I'm done, I'll go ahead and paint the floor. And then the last step after everything is done and dry, after we put on a couple of coats, would be to put on the E-tracks, which we're going to do vertically. They're all painted right now and drying. And then we'll go ahead and attach any little gizmos and gadgets that we want to have on this. So the only thing I need to do is pick up more 2x4s for that top rail, and I need to get some more screws, and that's pretty much it. Otherwise, it is looking to be about done here. So it's very very spotty right now, but I think it's looking pretty good. All right, so today was going to be the day that we were going to sand down everything and paint the first coat on, and then do the first coat for the floor for the protective sealant. And go figure, 6% chance of rain, and it rained out for like the last half hour when I left Home Depot to when I got here. So that means we're not going to paint today, because now all the wood is going to be wet. But I think if I let it hang out for a little bit, hopefully I can at least sand it. I'm thinking I still have to put the 2x4 on the top trim, so I can do that, you know, in light rain. And then I will maybe put the tarp system on, and I'll just paint around it. Yesterday we caulked all of the gaps in between and filled in all of the knots and the voids with a wood filler. So that's pretty much taken care of. I just have to sand everything down. So we'll do what we can, because it's 10:30 in the morning. Like I planned on spending this whole day getting this done. so that way I just have to go back and put on my second coats and like everything's done. You know, the finishing touches would be like the E-tracks and, you know, installing any D-rings and whatnot. So that's kind of shitty, but this is where we're at. I'm gonna kind of just go through and do like a recap of everything I did, why I did it, and the material I used. As I mentioned before, I'm not a carpenter, I'm not an expert. This is my first trailer build. I've built stuff at home before that's lasted a couple of years, and I just used the same experience. So do I think the trailer is gonna last 10 years? Absolutely not. But if I just get a few years out of it, honestly, like, that's worth it. And if I ever want to, you know, resell the trailer or, you know, knock the wood out and put in the aluminum build at some point, then we can. So it is what it is. We're gonna hang out in the truck and read our book for a little bit until it stops raining, and we'll get everything taken care of as much as possible. So stay tuned for the recap. All right, it is still kind of raining. You can't really see it, but it's raining. And it was literally just sunny for like 5 minutes and got really hot, and now it's raining again. So we put in the 2x4 and flushed out the top all the way around. I got these little mending plates because I thought they would be good to connect the 2x4s because they're different sizes. And I guess I don't know how to use them because I thought you just hammer them into the wood. And they are really hard to hammer in. So none of them really look super great. I'm basically going to fill it in with putty and just paint over it so it looks flushed. I went ahead and threw this extra bracket on top, and I did that on each one just for extra securement, but it is still pretty good now though, so fuck it, it is what it is. We finished out the corners, so all the hardware is in. Any hardware left over I'm returning to get my monies back. This is an expensive project, but everything is done. I was originally going to do a double up 2x4 at the top here, like on the inside, and I have these little corner, like right triangle brackets I was going to use, but I don't know. I don't think I really need to do it at this point because I was going to originally do the E-tracks up top, but now I'm going to do verticals, so I think we'll be all right without it. That's pretty much everything. Obviously, I can't paint, and I don't even really want to sand it because the wood's kind of still moist. So my only problem now is this. As you can see, it's slanting over a little bit. Now the trailer is on a decline like that, so I'm sure that's the main reason. But I'm kind of thinking, I don't know how to do these pockets super well. I was thinking maybe if I were to attach another board here, put one in the middle, and just use like a 6 or 8 inch lag bolt to just go through the whole fucking thing. But I think I'm going to ask my brother when they get back if they can weld on a steel plate like right here and just have it go straight up and have them drill holes in it. And I'll just use a 6 inch lag bolt and I'll fasten the side to it. And I'll do it on both sides just for securement purposes, but mainly this side because I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it'd be fine once the trailer like is flat, but something to keep in mind because obviously if I'm using ratchet straps to tie it from left to right, it may pull it in anyways. Oh, God damn it. So something to consider. You can kind of see how it leans. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. I did fuck up a little bit here because this is just slightly over, but I can sand it down so it's at least flush with this. But that's pretty much everything. These are painted. I just have to paint the other side, but obviously it's raining. But that's pretty much it for now. I can't really do anything else. So the next time we come back when it's not raining, we'll go through and sand down everything so it's nice and smooth. And then we'll be painting it white on the outside. And we'll be painting the inside walls white. And then this will get a clear waterproof sealant. And then we'll look into doing the aluminum flooring to cover up any cracks. I went ahead and caulked along the edges all around, so you won't see that as much once it gets painted. But that's pretty much everything. I think overall it came out how I planned, give or take, and I'm pretty happy with it. I think it'll hold plenty of clutter now. And to give you an idea, I'm 6 foot myself, So these are 5-foot sides. So I think I'll have a little bit more securement now when I'm loading stuff up high. So I think that's it. I've been getting wet for the last 2 hours. So we're gonna call it a day and save this for another one. Until next times. All right, this is day... Fucking peacocks. Let's wait for the peacock to finish making noise for no reason. Go ahead. Go ahead. Keep going. Yep. Are you done? Fucking asshole. All right, this is day something. Everything looks exactly the same because it's been raining out every other day. We're going to do a second coat on these, and then eventually we will do the backside to help prevent rust. But I really like the matte color, but I don't have any more matte paint. And I don't want to buy more paint when I already have this. So we're just going to spray them all glossy. It is what it is. Right now we are going to go through and spend hours sanding down everything. We have 3 different grits. I don't know if I need all 3, but from what I am familiar with, you have the low grit to get the rough surface kind of all smoothed out. And then the medium grip can be helpful to just kind of help sand it over just a little bit more, just to kind of get it smooth. And then the highest grit will help get it really smooth to get the texture that I want personally, which is like furniture smooth. The trimming has held up pretty well despite all the rain we've had. I just realized I never actually did the top board because I put that in afterwards. So we'll have to sand everywhere above that, and then I'll go ahead and fill that in. I can still feel the wood is a little damp, so I'm probably not going to paint today, which is annoying. But what are you going to do? My brothers are back from Japan, so I'm going to ask him how much it would be to get a metal frame welded right here and have them drill the holes in it. And then I can fasten each side to that plate to help pull this way. So, and then we're also going to figure out the floor. I'm also doing it for weight purposes, so if it's going to cost the same to just do plywood, or not cost. If it's going to end up weighing the same because it's a thicker piece of aluminum or steel, I haven't decided yet. No, aluminum, because aluminum won't rust and it's going to be on the floor. So if I get a thicker aluminum sheet, is it going to end up weighing the same as plywood? Something to consider. We got our handy dandy masks, and we got Ghost Energy's new. Oh, I don't know how new this is. I just saw it on the podcast with the guy I follow that is affiliated with it. But yeah, we have a few hours in the day, and then we're going to be giving an estimate for a hot tub removal later. Probably try to do that on Monday after our other 2 jobs and just kind of tag team them. And try to do as much as we can here today. All right, so far we sanded this side and the front side with the 60 grit, kind of just trying to break down some of the rough surfaces. And then we'll go through with a medium grit and then a high grit next to really try to make it as fine as possible. I'm not going like super crazy. It may sound like I am, but I'm not going to spend like 10 hours sanding this thing. This side and the front side probably took me like a half hour, maybe, give or take. It's pretty sandy around here. You'd think that we're at a beach. So it came out pretty well. I mean, you can tell like what my goal is to get rid of the wood look. I'm not against the wood look, but for me, I don't know. I feel like everyone just like they build the wood and then they paint over it, like, and it looks like painted wood. I'm trying to make it not look so much like painted wood. You know, kind of get all of those like these things here. Like I'm trying to make this go away and just make it as smooth as possible. So I don't think we're gonna sand the inside. I mean, I'm mainly just painting it white, honestly, because I screwed up with the sealant, the wood filler, and got a white instead of clear. That's really the only reason why I'm doing shit. This is an annoying mask. The only reason I'm doing the paint on the inside, otherwise I was just gonna keep it natural. But I think it'll make it look nice, especially with like the black E-tracks will make it help pop. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna paint the inside. We'll leave it as is. It's gonna get banged up anyways. And then I think we're gonna sand down. We're gonna get the leaf blower, try to blow off any of the dust, and then I'll go through with a brush that I have and try to knock off any of the additional rust, sand, and then blow it again. A lot of blowing today. And then paint over it if it doesn't get cloudy out. I'm more worried about this side next to the trees because I feel like it's not getting any sun, so it's not drying as fast as the other sides are because it did rain out the other day. But we'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys posted. So I actually don't need all three types. I just need the rough one, and then this one is for the sanding before paint. So I can return all of those. Trailer is all done. I just took the leaf blower and blew off all the pre-existing dust before I sanded the next one, just so I'm not sanding already sanded sand. This is the stuff like I need to clean up though right here. And I want to get stuff like this off. But I think it came out pretty smooth. I don't think you can really tell on camera, but I think it looks pretty good. I need to get this like peely stuff off. I have a scraper for it. I used it to fill in like the little voids and stuff and the knots like this one. Like that came out perfect. But I want to scrape the leftover stuff out. And it's just to help prevent it from bleeding through. So we're going to go ahead and do this one. Sand it down. Brush it off. Get these repainted again with the second coat. Alright, it is all done. I did the high grit and the low grit, or vice versa. Definitely came out a lot smoother. I still don't know if you could tell on camera. Probably not. But it is much smoother. I have no doubt in my mind I can do this and not get a stupid sponsor. So, obviously it's not the smoothest considering the fact that the wood isn't perfectly flush. I try to get the straight pieces and I try to brace it, but I mean, it's freaking wood. You know, shit like that happens. So, it is what it is. I'm going to go through next and try to peel off anything that's like, you know, kind of ready to peel because I don't want to paint over it and then that peels off the whole thing. That would be stupid. So, luckily the sandpaper was able to smooth out any of the things that were like peeling at first. So I'm just going to go through the scraper, grab anything left over that didn't get done. I did the bottom half when I did the first grit. I didn't do it with the second part. It was kind of hard to maneuver around without smacking my hand on the... See, we got to get stuff like this. Without smacking my hand on the trailer and stuff. But overall, I think it came out pretty good. About as good as it could. I'm gonna wipe down all of this so we can start putting the tape down. I got some plastic wrap up there, right there. We're gonna wrap around the wheel wells and stuff so we don't get paint on anything, and then we'll tape off around all the black parts. I'll put cloth over this. I'm doing a roll paint so I don't have to worry about taping off my brother's garage. And then on the inside, I'm gonna just drop the cloth just on the floor and just try to kind of level it out as I go. I'm not gonna bother trying to tape it on top of, you know, wood. So we'll get the outside first because that's more important to me, and then we'll get the inside if the weather stays nice. It's a little cloudy out, but I don't think it's supposed to rain today. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then if all is good, we'll put down the varnish on the ground. So, we'll see. Try not to push our luck here. Alright, it's getting a little windy out, which isn't fantastic, but it is what it is. So we got the second coat on these. This is all prepped and ready to go for painting. It's all sanded down. I brushed it off with a broom and then went over the leaf blower twice. I got the majority of these things that were a little peely. Prep all the way across, covering the wheel wells and this guy here in case any paint splatters. That's obviously not working out super great, but everything is painted, ready to go. Not painted, prepped, ready to go. All right, we got 2 coats done. The one thing I didn't do yet was go by with a paintbrush because I just didn't want to get too many things dirty at once. But the paint is looking pretty good so far. I went through and make sure I didn't have any drips. Other than that back here, that's going to be a paintbrush kind of thing. But looking pretty good so far. I just went down and put the sealant on the floor. So that'll be done ahead of time. We don't have to worry about that anymore. And when I paint the inside, I'll just lay down drop cloths and try to cover up as much as possible so we don't have to worry about the paint leaking in, just in case I can't quite do the flooring with the aluminum right away. I don't want it to look weird. Just me though. I don't think anyone else really cares. But floor is done. That's good. Yeah, I don't know if you can really tell with the white, but I think it looks pretty good so far. But we're gonna leave the paint on or the tape on just for now. I'm sure if it rains it's gonna peel off, but I just don't want to have to retape it all if I don't have to. So it's not like it's sitting on a trim to where if you pull it up you're gonna risk pulling the paint with it, so I don't have to really worry about that. But I only got a couple of spots where I caught some paint on it. I can just scratch that off and, you know, paint over it blacker if I need to. But that's pretty much it for now.